Hi there, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to delve into something that really hasn't been thought through by really anybody that I can think of, whether they were Star Wars fans or fandom menace or really anyone. This is something that runs so deep into the story that it kind of renders everything, literally everything, completely different than what we thought before. Disney Star Wars had a good run at making things look cool or look cute, and if we just sit back and relax, that can be enjoyable. But today let's turn our brains on and delve into the deep recesses of the Lucasfilm Star Wars story group. I want you to imagine that you're one of the writers sitting there right now, and all of a sudden it dawns on you just what the hell you guys had done. So, first of all, Grogu. How does someone who is aging differently able to understand the deep and vast mysteries of the Force as much or more than anyone if they can't comprehend speech or when to stop being mischievous? How could Grogu have been able to interpret what he was learning? So he was able to understand but just not respond for all the time it took while he was training? And how long could that have been? Surely not 50 years. He was a tadpole for a while. Surely not 30 years, right? At 20, wouldn't he still be on the teat? Or are we suggesting that he aged quickly and then had a pause for decades while he somehow understands what the Jedi are telling him? He doesn't physically mature, but somehow mentally matures? But yet can't talk. Can he read? Surely he would need to be able to read for all those years of training, would he not? How did he learn to use the Force so young, exceeding the level of a 900-year-old of his same race, or even more in tune with the Force than Yoda was? Who taught him healing anyway? And why was he the only one who knew how to heal up to and beyond that point until Rey showed up? And oh boy, this is where she comes in. Rey learned healing from the Jedi text, according to Star Wars. Doesn't that mean Grogu needed to be able to read? And doesn't that also mean that the texts and the technique were in the temple up to Order 66? And wouldn't that mean the Jedi knew healing? And wouldn't that mean they knew healing during the time Anakin was flying off the deep end? And wouldn't that mean the Jedi were sharing this knowledge with others, even baby Jedi? So why wouldn't Obi-Wan go get the Jedi that taught that technique to heal Padme? And couldn't the Jedi have used the healing Rey learned from the text that Grogu's master had access to heal Anakin from the dark side like Rey did to Ben? Also, according to official Star Wars? Why didn't Yoda know about healing? He was at the temple when Grogu was there. He was on the council. Surely he would know the master that knew this technique, or better yet, as a council member, would have had access to the Jedi texts in order to find out how to heal. What about Mace Windu? He was also on the council. When he and the other Jedi stormed into Palpatine's office, why couldn't he have just touched the Emperor and ended the entire threat like Rey did when she touched Ben and turned him from the dark side? So if the texts were at the temple during the prequels, where did they go? Star Wars says Luke collected them. If the texts that taught the healing that Grogu and Rey knew, why were they scattered everywhere? How did Luke know where to find them? Why didn't Yoda take them from the temple? He had training for Obi-Wan after Order 66, but left the texts behind? If they were left behind, wouldn't they have become possession of the Empire? Wouldn't the Empire seize everything they could from the temple? So why were they needing to be collected? And how could Luke Skywalker possibly know where to collect them from? And if Luke had the Jedi texts in 34 ABY, then that means he managed to save them from the temple in 28 ABY, because after that he exiled on Ahch-To. That also means he could have healed Ben from the dark side by learning the technique rather than almost killing him. And that also means Ben wouldn't have turned and the Jedi Order would have remained. And that also means Han and Leia's family would be together. And that also means there would be no dyad necessary, and Rey wouldn't exist. Oh my goodness. What a mess. Except Rey would exist because she was Palpatine's granddaughter. that's a story for another time.